Josh Giddey is a special talent. Recently, Josh got a triple-double in a game versus the Dallas Mavericks, and in doing so, he became the youngest player in NBA history to record a triple-double. Just an absolute special talent. But quickly before we get the video started, for those who may not know, I'm Juicy Sports. I make opinionative NBA content, and if you guys enjoy videos similar to this, please consider hitting that subscribe button, that post notification bell, and that like button. But anyways, let's get into it.
Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetic.
Josh Giddey was drafted with the number 6 overall selection in the 2021 NBA draft. Going into the draft, Giddey was certainly seen as one of the most interesting players coming out of that draft. When I look at Josh Giddey's game, if I had to describe it in one word, I would say diverse. He's able to do basically everything on the offensive side. When you talk about his three-point shooting ability, he certainly has that. He has a great catch and shoot three-point shot. He's able to cross over into a three-point shot, sidestep, step back, pull up, coming off a screen, whatever you want from that three-point area, he's able to do. Of course, he's not at an elite level from that three-point area, but he's able to do everything from there. In terms of his mid-range shooting ability, it's pretty similar. He has the ability to catch and shoot, sidestep, step back, cross over into a mid-range jump shot. Also has a pretty decent post turnaround fadeaway, which I mentioned this in a lot of my videos, but a lot of players that want to become superstars in the game really need to have that post turnaround fadeaway within their game, depending on what position they play. But when you're talking about Josh Giddey at that small forward position or that point forward position, I certainly think that post turnaround fadeaway is certainly a fantastic shot to have in his arsenal. He has a pretty nice floater within his game as well, and driving all the way to the basket, he's not super athletic and doesn't have the ability to posterize whatever player's there, but he has the ability to finish around them with crafty layups, either with his left or right hand. Talking about his passing and playmaking ability, in my opinion, this is probably the best part of his game. His passing and playmaking ability and his basketball IQ, I think in my opinion, are the best parts of his game. Giddey already early on in his NBA career has made some crazy highlight passes. There's been some clips where he grabs the rebound, chucks the ball full court, perfect pass to one of his teammates for an easy dunk or layup. There's also been some clips in the half-court offense, which is arguably more impressive, that he would pass the ball cross court with his opposing hand, his left hand, a perfect pass right to one of his teammates in the shooting pocket, and they get an easy catch and shoot three-point shot. But even besides Giddey's highlight passing ability, he also has an ability to just run the offense very effectively, and I think we've seen that. He does a fantastic job at just calming everyone down and making everyone's life a lot easier out there on the court. And basically when you look at Josh Giddey's game, you can say that he's good at a lot of things, but he isn't necessarily great at anything. Besides his passing and playmaking ability, I do think he's great at that. But in terms of his three-point shooting, his mid-range shooting, and his driving ability, I don't necessarily think you could say he's elite at either of those levels. But sometimes prospects like this come out of the draft, and they really go in one of two ways. Either they go in the direction of Josh Giddey, or at the very least the direction that it looks like he's going in the sense that they become a very, very good player in the league, or they go in the complete opposite direction and they just turn out to be a complete bust. But as I mentioned for Josh Giddey, I think he's certainly going in the direction of being a very good talent going forward. And after the rookie season he's having so far, I would expect him to continue to have the same type of rookie season going forward, and also in the seasons going forward, I would expect him to get better and better each and every season. I think he's proven a pretty good work ethic, at least in the NBA so far, and I would expect that to continue. But how good do I actually think Josh Giddey could potentially be in the league? Well, when you just look at his skill set, I think he certainly has the ability to become at the very least an all-star type player. Of course, he's nowhere near that currently at this point, although he clearly is a very good player at this point. He has to continue to work and work each and every season, and that's remained to be seen obviously. But assuming that he continues to work hard during the offseason and continuously gets better each and every season, I don't see why he wouldn't be able to become at the very least an all-star level player. Maybe going forward down the line, he could potentially be a superstar player, but in my opinion, the only way he would get to that point is if he becomes an elite scorer, which is a pretty big jump from where he is currently. Obviously, as I mentioned, he's a pretty good scorer at this point, but he's nowhere near elite. You may ask, what do I actually mean by an elite scorer? Well, all I mean is there isn't a specific number that I could put on it saying that if he averages this amount of points, he would be an elite scorer. What I really mean by it is when you watch him out there on the court from that three-point area, he should be a marksman from that three-point range. From that mid-range area, also be a very, very good shooter. driving all the way to the basket, be a very prolific scorer, driving all the way there. And if he can do all those things well, then I would say he would be an elite scorer out there. If I had to put a number on it, I would say I would probably like to see him averaging at least 22 points per game for me to say he would be at an elite level. But I certainly think this OKC Thunder team certainly has a ton of things to be excited about. When you look at the roster, you talk about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, of course you talk about Josh Giddey, you talk about a bunch of other players they have on their roster. I think they're just set up for success going forward. But even besides all the players they currently have on their team that are certainly going in the right direction, also not to mention they have a million draft picks, that's also going to help them going forward, and I certainly think this OKC Thunder team in the future could certainly be a powerhouse. The approach that the OKC Thunder are taking is just getting as many draft picks as they possibly could, and in my opinion, I think they're doing the exact right thing. If you're a rebuilding team, the best thing that you can possibly do is obviously just get as many draft picks as possible, and the thinking behind this, besides just getting as many young players you possibly could on your roster, is if you have a high draft pick, let's just say the OKC Thunder have the #1 overall selection in this upcoming draft. If that were to happen and the Thunder for whatever reason drafted the wrong player, that would push their organization back another 4 or 5 years, honestly. But if you have a bunch of different draft picks, so let's say in this upcoming season the OKC Thunder have the #1 overall selection, the #7 overall selection, and the #24 overall selection, if for whatever reason they missed on the #1 overall pick, that obviously would suck, but they also have the #7 overall and #24 overall to kind of make up for it. So really, more so than anything else, the fact that the Thunder are gathering up so many draft picks is more so of an insurance policy more so than anything else. And also another thing that I like that they're doing is they're bringing in bad contracts to their organization when they also get another draft pick along with that. So for example, when the Thunder originally brought in CP3 a few seasons back, he was seen as a player that was certainly going downhill and also as a player that was certainly overpaid. So the Rockets had to attach a first round pick in order to actually trade it to the Thunder. Obviously the Thunder got very lucky and CP3 turned out to be a great player and they were able to get even more draft picks after trading away CP3. But the thinking behind a trade similar to that, I think a team in that position, that's exactly what you want to do going forward, and I just really do like the direction the Thunder are going in. But we'll see what happens not only for Josh Giddey going forward, hopefully he does turn into at the very least an all-star type talent, maybe even a superstar type talent, but we'll also see what happens to the OKC Thunder going forward, which in my opinion, I certainly think they have the capability to become an absolute powerhouse going forward. But we'll see what happens, anything could happen. But anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. How good do you personally think Josh Giddey could get in the future? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please check out one of these 2 videos popping up now. And until the next time, peace out, guys.
Oh yeah, I work with the medics. I'm about to get you injected. I got a couple connections so I can get you prosthetic. Hope you can't go where I'm headed.